Love Christchurch. Let's sing it together. Let's let Christchurch hear us. Unto us, O not we at thy feet in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our free land. God, Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God, defend New Zealand.
Beautiful. Give it up for beautiful Dave. Don't you love that anthem? God defend New Zealand. God defend our free land. Hey, I want to welcome, we've got a lot of people who've come here from Nelson as well, from the top of the North Island. So I acknowledge them, Invercargill down the bottom, Southland, Nelson at the top. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome the man who's been leading the Freedom and Rights Coalition in the Nelson. So could you please join with me in welcoming Mr. Martin Daly to the stage.
Good morning to you all. What a fantastic turnout. We've just arrived from Nelson, came through the mountains, freezing cold this morning, but it's worthwhile because we're standing for our freedoms, are we? We're standing up for our freedoms, not just our own, but the freedoms for Christchurch, Canterbury, South Island, New Zealand. We're going to take our freedoms back because our government is taking them off us bit by bit, little bit by little bit, taking our freedoms, and we're here to stand and march and get our free medical apartheid. And even the vaxxed are not happy with that. And definitely not the unvaxxed. How many people we've got vaxxed here that are not happy with what the direction the government's taken us? Many in this crowd have got double vax, but they are not happy. They've been lied to because horrifically with their heart conditions, ongoing heart conditions, and some have died, and they've kept it hush hush. The government has paid hush money out to a family in Nelson. A 21-year-old boy died. They give us our freedoms. God gives us our freedoms, but we're here to say we are free, and you will not bind us, and you will not limit us, and we want Labor gone. I me to get vaccinated. The first one's getting knocked out. They'll have to lock me up, but I'm going kicking and screaming. I'm not a violent man. I used to be once upon a time, but I tell you what, they're not going to force me to get vaxxed, and they're definitely not forcing my children to get vaxxed. Let's take our freedom back, New Zealand. Let's take our freedom back, South Island. Thank you very much.
So give it up for Martin Daly. That's the kind of spirit. You know, it was amazing just to be able to get out of Wellington and to come down here to the beautiful South Island. And I knew, man, can I jump on a plane? Yeah, you can, but you just got to get yourself COVID tested. So I turned up at the chemist. Luckily, the lady gave me that little stick that you've got to ram up your nose, up to your brain, and I sort of put it that I trust that if I look after myself, I can take on, withstand anything that comes my way, and come out kicking and winning. And so this is the year of kickback, guys. This is a year where ordinary, common sense New Zealanders who say, we've had enough of the nonsense, too much doesn't add up, and if you're not going to recognise them, we've just got to get louder, prouder, more.
The suspenders, bow tie, and vintage cheese cutter hat we had purchased for our wedding day ended up being the outfit for Rory's final journey. For those who haven't heard our story, my 26-year-old fiancé passed away 12 days after his vaccine. Rory had some very minor symptoms of heart flutters that appeared on and off for those 12 days. His final evening was more serious, and when he couldn't sleep at 3 a.m, we decided to go to the hospital. Unfortunately though, we never made it. Last time I spoke, I was at the Freedom March in Wellington. At that point, I had been unofficially told about how Rory died, but I wasn't allowed to make it public. Rory's cause of death was spread like wildfire around the medical community and talked about like gossip, well before his own fiancé and family knew. We were astounded by the tactics used for delaying the truth that the government and Ministry of Health already knew. This time around, I can confirm that Rory's cause of death was myocarditis as a result of the Pfizer vaccination. This makes Rory the first confirmed and undeniable vaccine death in New Zealand with no underlying conditions. While I can now confirm that Rory is the first in New Zealand and all over the world who have lost, it seems to be my purpose now. I'm talking to real people who have real stories that are being covered up with delaying tactics from the Ministry of Health and the government. MedSafe's most recent report states that there are 1,799 deaths that have occurred within 3 weeks of vaccination. These deaths are currently being investigated, but will we ever get the true answers? I would like to call out the New Zealand government. This is a vaccine that you call safe. The known definition of safe is to be protected from or not exposed to danger or risk and not likely to be harmed or lost. Well, Rory was harmed and Rory was lost. Where there's risk, there needs to be a choice. We should not have to put something into our bodies that can cause serious harm, permanent injury, or death. Initially, my goal was to spread awareness around the vaccine side.
Hey, why don't you put your hands together again for Ashley? Give her a good scream, this amazing young lady. You know, Ashley, I know that life sometimes deals you with situations that are not the way that you wanted life to go. And I just want to honour you for your courage, for a young lady who stood up. You've been courageous, and nothing that you went through was for nothing. And I know that there are so many other lives that will be changed, will be saved, and people who will be able to stand up with courage to share their story because you were able to do that. So thank you for standing with us on Parliament grounds. Thank you for standing here again. And I know that your Rory will be so proud of you today. Give it up for this amazing, amazing young lady. Well, our next guest speaker, he's no guest to you guys. You're pretty familiar with this face. He's a guy going on with the people. What's in the water down there? But as you will learn, everything stems from leadership, and boldness and courage just to step out there and to do things. And so I want to, I guess, introduce you to your...
Awesome. See this little fella here? This is my youngest moko, my youngest grandchild. He's the reason that I'm standing here. He's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. Because like I said, they've crossed the line when they said they're going for our kids. And I'm like the previous speakers. I'm a good man. I've got a good temperament. I'm a cool dude. So like I said, last year she got married. They bought their new home. We're all in agreement. And I know a lot of us here today, a lot of our families, there's division. But you have to hold your ground. You have to keep going. You have to not give up. Because I tell you, one day they will be thanking you. One day you'll turn them around. Don't lose hope. I've missed you guys. Christmas, New Year's has been too long. It's actually not the time in the season. If you've had a break, awesome. But it's actually not the time in the season to have a rest, to lay on the beach. We should not let up. We should not slow down. We are not dictated to by them and can't do. People who will join us. There's a lot of people who have been vaxxed, double vaxxed, boosters for roosters, Omnicron, it's all Decepticron. Well, my family is the main thing or everything. All of a sudden there's separation in our families. Really focus. So, we must not continue to be the same. We must up it a level. To be stronger, to be braver, to continue to gather together. But some of you wouldn't want nothing to do with this Maori boy. But that's all right. It's probably the same back. Next Saturday, my family and I will be up in Auckland, up the North Island, which is Saturday the 15th.
Beautiful. Why don't you give it up for Derek? I love the cheek of this little Māori boy, eh? You know, I'm a little quiet, little well-behaved island boy. We islanders, we just smile. We came to New Zealand for a better life. We do what we're told, that's our way. My family think I've gone a little bit crazy to my family album because I immediately had people criticize me. This man's had a lot of people criticize him over many years. Had a lot of people tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. And I'm thinking, well, I should know what I'm doing is not just for me, but it's for you and for your children and your grandchildren. And so because of what this man had done, we started these marches at Freedom of Far North, right the way down Christchurch, all over the place. Other cities were saying we want this in our city, in our town as well. We need courage. We need courage. We need an injection, an epidemic, a pandemic of courage to spread throughout this country so ordinary New Zealanders who are asleep can wake up to the truth. That's what I love about this man. I'm glad that they've tried to shut him down. They shut him out of Parliament for the last 2 stands that we had in Parliament grounds. They said he couldn't come to Wellington City. But you know what? You can shut a man down, but the courage that he instilled in not only myself, but so many other quiet people who want to mind their own business has caused me to stand up and say, this is my fight for life. Not just for me, not just for my people, not just for my children, but for every single person that I come into contact with. That's why it's with great honor and privilege that I introduce to you the man who's a founder of the Freedom and Rights Coalition here in Aotearoa. And we're really honored to have him here today in sunny Christchurch. Could you please join with me and welcome to it.
Way, I was getting booed out of your city. And I can't remember what it was for, but it was something going on. You know, I do trust our immune system, and so that has been really. A girl from Central North Island, and we got married and raised a family. Cancer is not terminal; it's transitional. It just takes you to a better world and a better life if death comes. It just puts you in a position that I would not ever fear what may a particular place or person. It comes from God Himself as a gift to us naturally to live as free as the birds live. You fed well because you guys keep chucking your pies out the window and all the food. I've been before 4 different judges and maybe 5 after today. They see me as a real problem. I don't know why. I'm just an ordinary Kiwi like you guys and just put my damn hand up at the wrong time and said, here I am. I'll do the business here. But you know what, the judicial system, fairly well assistant at that time, and I said to the guys, are you in? And they all said, absolutely in. We'll fight this to the very end. I said, risk, there's a lot of unknowns, and when the police knew that I was standing, they got interested, and they're watching and listening. Plan. It was right. Freedom and Rights Coalition was just a name that I put up the front because I knew the fellows would have difficulty with me. And I wanted it to be broad-based as possible so that many people could be involved in it. I had made a relationship with somebody. I said this, I'll make a promise. The most successful protest to bring permanent change, and I've gone through, boy, I've done some research on actual protest stuff. I don't do much of that, you guys are experts. I do it on how to actually. Easier said than done. I'll tell you that you're dealing with something that's not my business to say it here because you won't like it. But you're dealing with an invisible force that she is imbibed with. And after we clean that up and clean the judicial system up and start to have for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, that our freedoms need to come in a way where at least we're going to have people who really care about what they are doing and involved in governing our country. But anyway, getting back to this, so she state me torrent like that. Now, no more swimming with sharks. I'm hopping out of the shark tank. So you can't sing the national anthem because that land is not free. Jacinda land is full of control, it's full of lockdowns. The moment this breaks down, well, the police say they're not going to do any more of this, they will be looking for aeroplanes. Her, Hipkins, Bloomfield and Robertson. They'll be looking for the airports to fly out. Don't forget, you run down there, drive down there and stop them because they're going to pay for their crimes. They have murdered people. They will run. The only reason why they're working is the police are enforcing it at the moment. But I'm asking all police officers that are not going to get vaccinated, they're up to almost 2,000, come and join the free land, the new free New Zealand, and start being a real policeman, doing real things, instead of babysitting borders and looking out to who's not wearing their mask.